Well, welcome to the 2024 Ilford Orloff Awards, and thank you for joining us if you are on live stream. And here we are at TAFE, North Metro TAFE, and you are welcome to come into TAFE to sit in the audience and witness the judging. We've got a nice cosy room, pretty full of audience members, and a huge collection, a herd of judges, and we're blessed with the calibre of judge that we have attending today to help us out choose the winning images, the winning categories, and we're looking for, of course, excellence in the competition. We are going to be starting with the wedding category, and we have on the panel already in position. It's our starting lineup, a bit like the Australian Boomers or the Australian Opal. And our starting lineup we have is Simone Addison, Nathan Madigan, Jasmine Sky Smith, we have JR or Johannes Reinhardt, and Rebecca Johansson. I've got that right, haven't I, everybody? Excellent, and thank you guys. We are so pleased with, and also we have in our reservists Erica Serena and Serena Pierce. Thank you, Serena. So we really are happy to have these guys share their time and expertise and judging prowess. So we're going to need to make a start, get the ball rolling. I'd like to actually acknowledge the sponsor of the wedding category, which is Jorgensen's. Jorgensen albums have been around for, a prize for a guess as to how long Jorgensen's have been around for? 40 years, 50 years? Long time. And now looked after by Fitzgerald Photo Labs is the location. That's where we go for Jorgensen's. So thank you very much for Jorgensen's for looking after this category for us. So with the wedding category, I'm not going to go through all the rules for the competition. I think we take that as read, but there are some specific category rules that are relevant to assist us in our judging in terms of the context. The category did have two subcategories, and that was wedding general, which is basically open, anything goes, and then the other category was in-camera capture, which basically meant minimal post-production. But due to the number of entries, we've combined it so all the wedding entries are in one category, so basically the general category. So there may be some images that are in there that are camera capture only. There are two images that within the captions we're going to identify as being camera capture only. So I think that's fair that you guys as the judges would be aware that there's been minimal post-production on some of the images, but we will announce that when those images arrive. Entries in the wedding category must have been created in connection with an actual wedding or civil union event. So there's no sort of professional models and teeing it up. The other relevant rules is this category is available for any wedding images that do not suit any of the subcategories below. So the subcategory is in-camera craft, which we may see. Now, when those types of images appear, it's single capture, so including any in-camera multi-exposure, panoramic stitch, focus stacking, or HDR. Basic post-production techniques such as colour and brightness adjustments, cropping, dodging and burning, conversion and monochrome are permitted. Minor post-production editing such as the removal of spots and blemishes are acceptable. Composites, the removal of or the addition of any other elements within the images is not permitted in those types of images which we will acknowledge when they appear. The original image content is to be retained. Does that all make sense, everyone? Good. Okay, just running down my checklist. Have I mentioned everything's here? So what we're going to do is a run-through of all the images in the category. It's a little slideshow. It's about 1 second per image. So understand that. But it's very useful to give you an overall view because it'll give you an idea that if the first image, is that just the best image, not the best image, the middle of the range, because you are kind of aware of what's going to be coming through. So if technology is going to behave, I'm going to set that up here, and I think that's ready to go. So I'm going to go, we've had to do some workarounds here, so just bear with us. And this should all behave, and I'll hit the play, and okay. So that's our images there. Did that make sense to everyone? Yeah? So I know it's a bit messy. So that seems a bit obscured. Should that be... To me it's a bit twisted. Should that be a bit like that? Was that...
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Is that good?
I just like it sitting. Yeah.
Nobody just... Okay, so we're going to begin. Sorry, I'm going to rustle some papers here on the microphone. Sorry about that for everyone out there in live stream land. So I'm going to bring, let me just again get set up here, guys. I'll get ready, and we're going to start with the first image. I do need to swap around a few things here. And you're going to rotate for us?
Yes, I am.
Yes. Now, just if you're not aware, what we are going to do is when a portrait format, a vertical image appears, we're going to rotate the screen. So it occupies the whole real estate of the screen, which we haven't done before. So again, we'll experiment on you guys. You can tell us how that works, but I think that's now much fairer for those that are portrait-shaped images. Okay, I'm going to flip back to you guys. Waiting for that to come up. We've got our category. So here is image number 1. Sorry. There we go. All right, so the judges, for those in live stream, I'll try and keep you up to date with what's actually happening here. The judges are scrutinising our first image. They have a feel for how the category sits, and so this image I think is going to get careful examination along with all the other images. So we've got our first scores coming through. So we're going to get a 6 for judge number 4, judge number 3 is 5, judge number 2 is 6, and judge number 5 is 6, and judge number 1 is a 6. So that, okay. So this image will score a 6. I don't know why that's... Can you just copy that into that comment column above? Okay. I'm just going to check with all our systems here. We're all good here. Hang on a sec. Let's escape that. Okay, we need to sort that bit out. Okay, we're going to come down here. So, if everybody's happy with that, we're going to go on to our next print. We'll sort that out later. Sorry, thank you. I would like to invite a volunteer. Who can? Thank you, Nathan. We're going to have a comment. Microphone is on.
Switching it on.
Spectacular idea, well executed in terms of the shape and the function, but because this is all about shape, we may as well express some character and identity of the couple in that shape. When they're kissing like this, we don't have much. We have a mesh of faces. There's probably something else in this series that has a lot more character coming out, and it's all just in the posing. It's a great concept. I think the photographer's done really well, done everything right, except we could improve the pose.
Excellent. Thank you, Nathan. Excellent feedback. There we go. We've set the standard for the rest of the time. Feedback of that quality, please. Okay. Right. We're going on to image number 2. Yep. And we're rotating the image because this image is actually it's a vertical portrait format. On the screen, is it? So unfortunately, for our viewers in the audience, the projector, we can't turn that. So everybody's going to have to lean their head to the left. Okay, we've got our scores coming through. How are we going? So we're scoring that. And final scores coming in is 8. Just tap out of that so we get our final score. And the final score in this image is, thank you judges, is 6. And we're looking for comments. Any volunteers? Simone? Thank you. Can you grab the microphone for us? So Simone's kindly going to offer some...
No, this is a review.
Oh, you're reviewing. Thank you. We have a review. So Simone has given the image an 8, which is 2 points higher than the given score.
Is that switched on?
Yes,
Yep,
so
okay.
are we good to go, Simone?
So
Thank you.
I would like to review this. I think it deserves a little bit more. The textures in this are just gorgeous, and the control of light and the exposure on those highlights are fantastic. I think the difference between all this gorgeous, texture of the veil, the skirt, the detailing here, and what I assume is a bridesmaid potentially, it could be another family member. I just think this very simple yet intriguing photo just tells you about the detail that's gone into the wedding day, and the colours are just, those warm tones are just, coming through in this beautiful, creamy, almost cake-like manner. I think, you guys should, review your scores a tad, I think this deserves, it's just seen in a slightly different way and cropped in a slightly different way that you might normally see. I feel like this is more of an abstract artwork rather than necessarily a sort of standard shot. You've got to be in that, quick, potentially, again, I don't want to make super assumptions, but could be during a ceremony where the lighting in the churches are awful. So, yes, please, have a think, guys.
Sure. Thank you, Simone. You will have a right of reply. Rebecca, you not quite seeing in the same light? And we might grab the microphone. Thank you. Thanks, Rebecca.
Yeah, look, I do see what you're saying, like the textures and the tones are absolutely beautiful. For me, I suppose I needed something more to connect. I do like your idea of it being an abstract art piece, but I suppose because of it being a wedding category, I want to connect with the subjects a bit more.
Cool, thank you. Okay. I don't necessarily have to go through everyone, but I'm more than happy for people to offer comments. So, would anyone? Thank you, Nathan.
Are we turning it off after every time?
I do, just in case.
Yeah.
Look, I wasn't as high as you, Simone, but it is an abstract shot, and for that it's beautiful. I just wanted to add some thoughts for the photographer because it's worthy of conversation. This as a landscape was actually amazing. It became a lot more abstract. It's just that when we're shooting abstract, we start to look for the crispness of the whole image, and so this depth of field of the bridesmaid's butt actually throws me out a bit from that beautiful abstractness. Otherwise, all the light is there, and I know that this is a solid image, and I think the photographer saw it well. I'm listening, Simone, if you can tell us why this should come out to a higher award. But yeah, I'm also with you that this is all abstract, and we're in a wedding category, so I'm just looking for some emotion.
JR, thank you.
Yeah, so I scored a 7 because I think this is better than your average image. I think it's really beautifully seen. Yes, the highlight for me, I would have gone to 8 straight away, or maybe even gold if the highlights wouldn't have been so dominant in the middle. But it's worth more to me anyway. It's definitely a silver range for me, just because of how the elements, even though there's this highlight, that the rest balances, there's a real beautiful balance with the textures, different textures, the shapes, that just works really well together. And the beautiful light on the right, so there's a lot of elements that really make this image
Excellent.
a little bit outstanding.
Yeah. Thanks, JR. Okay, Simone, bring it home.
I agree with, Nathan actually was saying about the landscape version. I quite liked that as well, to make it really abstract. I actually disagree slightly with Johannes with the highlights being quite dominant. I feel like that actually helps draw me through and give it that bit of depth of field. I understand that the subjects are standing fairly close to one another. And yeah, I do understand also with Rebecca with the connection. You know, we might have, it would have been sort of nice to see the hands being held or something with the two subjects. So that's why I didn't give it a higher score. So, yeah, I'm hearing all the things. But I think this could do just a little bit of a bump up more because that creaminess and those textures are just gorgeous. So, yeah, please give it another think, guys.
Well done. Thank you, Simone. You will hold your score at 8. Everybody else shall rescore, please. Pardon? No, we'll just copy your score over. Yeah, thank you. So Simone will stay in there. Yeah, good. Okay, scores are coming in now. I suspect there might be a shift in score. The image was a 6, and the image now is a 7, a silver award. Good commentary, judges. Well done. Just a quick explanation to our live stream audience who are also experiencing an image on its side. I'm sorry, if you want to see the image upright, you'll need to turn your monitors on its side at home or just rotate your head like we're doing here in the audience. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next image. I'll just let you rotate that first, Kelly. We're just going to swing our monitor around.
Oh, really interesting.
Well done. Here we go, next image. So for those that are at home listening in, you're welcome to actually physically come in during the afternoon. We're also here on Tuesday and Wednesday. And we're pretty central. We're in North Metro TAFE in Aberdeen Street, 30 Aberdeen Street in Northbridge, which is pretty handy to the train station if you don't want to drive in and find parking. Best parking station is probably the State Library, multi-storey car park. But my recommendation is the train. It's only a 10-minute walk from Perth Station. So, okay, we're just looking for our judges here. We've got our scores coming in. There we go. Good. Okay. This image scored, thank you judges, this image scores a 6. And I think that's pretty consistent, so I'll look for a comment, and I think... Any volunteers?
I'm always up.
Yes, good idea, Dave. Yeah. Jazz, don't look at me if you don't.
I won't dominate, but there's so much to love about this image. The photographer has given us something that feels almost accidental because the expression on the faces in the mirror is they're trying to be serious. And then she snatched a butt grab and we got it before he broke his face into just a relaxed laughter. So this is a really cool shot. I think what the judges have seen is just there's some warping, there's some distortion around the edges, all of that sort of stuff, which I enjoyed because it's so candid. But the photographer could just straighten those lines and allow us to not get so distracted by the technicals because the emotion, lack of, and momentary kind of moment in it is so great. Momentary moment, everybody. That's a new one.
Great. Love the expansion of the thesaurus of judging. Thank you, Nathan. Okay, we're going to move on to the next image here. So while the judges are pontificating, just to say that a score of 6, which we've had a couple of images already score the 6, is a bronze. Is kind of like a bronze level of quality. It's a high level of competence, and it's a professional image. So any photographer that receives scores of around that level should be still pleased that their work is considered highly. Often it just needs that little magic to go into the next award level. So I'd encourage people to persist. These scores of 5s and 6s are still highly regarded scores. Okay, we're going to wait for our judges to work out their score. They've got their paddles, which they are sharing with us. We have our first score coming in. Thank you, Judge 5. Just have that. This image scores 7, Silver Award. Again, a consistent scoring team, well done. Who would like to offer a comment here? Thank you, Jazz. Yeah. I think you're ready to go.
Yeah, I thought this was a beautiful image. I feel like for the artist to take it even further, I think we probably were looking for, I know it's hard with the smoke coming through, but just with it sort of going in front of the groom's face a little bit was quite distracting. Maybe just like slight positioning, but also I know that it is quite a difficult scene, but yeah, well done.
Thank you, Jazz. Good commentary. Right, we're moving on to the next image of this wedding category. So again, we'd like to acknowledge our sponsors, Jorgensen Albums, and I think they're actually visiting us here. Are you guys here with us tonight? Okay, Paul, nice to see you. Thanks for coming along, mate, and thank you for sponsoring the category. You've got some nice imagery here, mate, so it's all looking good. So Paul Mayer from Jorgensen Albums is here with us today in person. Now, the prize for this category is a certificate, a digital badge, print corner sashes, and a $1,000 voucher for Jorgensen Albums. Perfect for a wedding photographer. Excellent, outstanding prize. Thank you very much. Our judge is about to offer their scores. Thank you, everyone. And just have out. So we get the final score. This image scores, thank you, judges, a 6. Bronze standard. Simone, I think you probably can offer some lovely advice for our photographer.
Sorry, guys, I couldn't find the on mic. So yeah, I actually really enjoyed the quirkiness and the the cropping and the setup of this shot. I feel as though the bride and the landscape aren't married enough in, say, post-production. There needs to be a little bit more work done. For me, it sort of takes me out of that believability when I see a shot that I would, in some cases assume to be sort of photoshopped in some extent. I want to 100% believe, that it's happening. And in this case, I think there might be a need to be a little bit more dodging and burning around the bride to really make it be like, wow, really make it pop. But this is a great, great creative image. I just want to see it taken a bit further.
Good. So it has potential, yes? Great. Thank you, everyone. Okay, we're going to move to our next image. Thank you. Thank you, judges. Okay, our scores are coming in. And just a couple more. And this image scores a 6. Bronze standard. Okay, and
what score do we get from Nathan?
we're looking for... Sorry? Yep. Judge, is that right? Yep, we're good. So we want to make sure it's right. You want Simone? Good on you. Thank you. You have something to offer. Thank you, Simone. And we'll
Sorry,
need to share it
guys.
around though. You can't dominate everything.
I know, I'm sorry.
But this is,
I want to review. Yeah.
oh, you are reviewing.
Yeah, I wanna
My
review.
apologies. I didn't hear the review. Okay, we have a review.
Sorry,
Simone
my second
qualifies for this. Yes.
If yeah.
Thank you, Simone.
Okay.
You rate this higher than a 6.
Yes, I did. And I, again, just want you guys to reconsider, coming up a couple of points or so. Look, I, initially thought, oh, yeah, beautiful image, lovely architecture. This is a really difficult time of day to shoot in. If anyone's been down the beach at this time, it's horrendous. And the glare from that sun, I actually really like that sun flare. I think that works really well. I love the lines of the architecture just leading you in there, the couple obviously centred. But what got me was the two little seagulls on that side. I was like, that's a lovely image. And then I saw the seagulls and I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, I'm going up a little bit more. I just think it just marries everything really nicely. The tonal range is beautiful. Yes, there's a very strong highlight where the sun is, but that's appropriate for the sun. There is no deep, deep, muddy, dark blacks as well. They're all very nicely dark, but not so dark that you don't lose the detail in that roof area, again, which is going to be really dark when you correctly expose for the couple. Please, guys, please come up a little bit. I really like this one. Black and white suits it very well.
Nice commentary. Thank you. Okay. We're going to do around the room, or we're going to thank you, Jazz. So Jasmine's going to kindly offer her commentary.
Yeah, thank you, Simone, for challenging this. I did miss the birds there. I was so taken up with the architecture, and I was a little bit like, this feels like more of a architecture shot than a wedding shot, because it felt, for me, that the moment between the couple was a little bit lacking. But I can totally appreciate all of the things that you have said, and I'm definitely going to come up, I think, on this one.
Cool. JR?
Yeah, I missed the birds too. How could I miss the birds? Yeah, exactly. So I'm glad you challenged it, because I was already an award race in silver range. Now with the birds, I'm definitely going to go to
All
it.
right. The birds make a difference.
Only a question, and you probably will answer this. First of all, the pluses are, it is actually beautiful in black and white. Wrecked time of day to do this shot, and the photographer's chosen, I'm assuming the photographer's made every decision really deliberately, including black and white, including this colour play and the contrast play, even from the background of the waters, like washed out to contrasty. It's a really good architecture shot. As always, I saw the birds, yes, and my thought was, well, why doesn't the bride and the groom do more, like Jazz? Like, why aren't they doing more for the emotion of it? And my question is this a deliberate choice by the photographer? Because the birds are doing this, almost touching, doing nothing, one head above the other. Did the photographer craft this to get the couple to do the same? And if that's the case, then I can probably forgive them for not being so emotional, because that just completes the picture. So, look, I'm moving as well, but Simone can answer that pretty easily, I reckon.
Thank you. I think, did anybody else want, because Simone, you'll have last say, so we're all good with that commentary? Simone?
Look, yeah, I totally hear that, sometimes with couples you want them to have like these big sort of connections, but sometimes couples are quiet as well. I've shot couples that have been not so affectionate, and this is what they deem as just a quiet, peaceful moment by the sea. It may be that, the photographer chose to get them to mimic the birds. It may not be, but I think it's just this beautiful, quiet moment in very difficult lighting, to be fair. And the photographer has seen, this image and added, the architectural geometric element to it, and then made it marry then to the bride and groom with that sort of leading lines into them. And then the little birdies, yes, they're just adorable. So, yeah, thanks, guys.
Great commentary, team. Okay, so Simone's score is being held as an 8. Everybody else is to rescore. And so the score was sitting at a 6, bronze level. And is it going to change is the question. The question is yes, it is a 7, a silver award. Congratulations, team. Good Good judging going on there. Good commentary and observations. Thank you. Okay, we're going to rotate. And as you can imagine, this is going to be a portrait format image. Everybody else may now turn their heads. We should get a photo of this. A room full of people falling asleep. Right, judges are having a good scrutiny of this image. Okay, I think we're about to get our scores coming in. Thank you, Bev. That's good. Okay. One more score. And this image scores 6 bronze standard.
Can I review?
You can you review? Yes, you can. So we have a review. Rebecca is kindly going to bring our attention to the beauty of this image.
Okay, I love this image for many reasons. One of the main ones is lots can happen on a wedding day, and the photographer has seen this cat go onto a wedding dress, bite the veil, and instead of stopping the cat, they thought, I'm going to take the photo. And that needs to be rewarded on itself. But it's a gorgeous little moment, and it's also that moment where you know what's going to happen after. If that cat does rip it in the veil, oh, it's going to be hell. It's going to be, you know, it's all that sort of storytelling and drama that comes with it. Look, there's a couple of things that maybe I'd change, but I think that the unique little moment that's been seen, just for me, deserves a high score.
Thank you, Rebecca. Okay, let's go with... Anyone like to volunteer? We can, otherwise I'll pick on you. JR, you got the microphone in your hand.
Okay. Yeah, I love the moment too. I think all of us love the moment. When it comes to visual impact, I was kind of tossing and turning. Should I go silver range or should I play it safe? I'm glad you challenged it. I think if this be black and white, I think it probably might have helped. It's just there's a lot of other elements, and I see that it's well composed. So I better stop talking because like I see why you went up, and I see why some of us didn't.
Sure.
So I just pass on the microphone.
Sure. Okay. Thanks, Jan. Chaz, what do you think?
Yeah, it made me smile when it came up, and I think that's always a good thing, that it did make me feel something outside the ordinary, but it was let down, I think, a little bit with the overall, once I had a look at it, it wasn't like a wow, yes, but the fact that you can't make a cat do anything, I totally applaud the photographer for capturing this and thinking this was a unique moment, because, yeah, absolutely it is.
I'll just make a really quick comment. I actually disagree with the black and white. I quite like the creaminess of it, and that, you know, the colours of the cat really kind of stand out. I actually think does it need to be cropped in a bit, you know, get rid of those stairs. The bouquet, while beautiful, is with the dark sort of, what are they called, marble top there, it's sort of leading me out of this cat. And the cat is the hero, so I agree, the cat is amazing, and it's got such a cheeky look. He knows he's being a jerk, so as all cats do. I do appreciate the image. I just think it can be finessed a little bit more, potentially with cropping. I don't know, but yeah, I was sort of in the sort of mid-range, I guess.
Okay, Nathan.
Yeah, I think that the hero, what I'm hearing is that the hero of this photograph is the photographer. That we're all realising, wow, the photographer really found a good shot. And at the same time, this is what wedding photographers will do. They'll find a good shot and they'll take it and they'll produce it really beautifully, and all the textures are there. And the timing is really great as well. I'm wondering how high we should award that as an award in a category for a photographer doing their job well. For the photographer, this in a series where we did see that reaction might help with that visual storytelling as well. Did the bride start checking it out, or did the mother come in and, we don't quite know enough. So I feel like this is what a great wedding photographer would do, and they did it well.
Thank you, Nathan. Rebecca.
So, I think that not knowing what happens after is part of its beauty. I think that it's, it's like, sometimes if something's all spelled out, you can, know what's going to happen. But I like the fact that we have no idea. The cat might have gotten away with it. The photographer might not have told anyone. That can happen, but we don't know, and that's kind of great too. I 100% agree with a lot of the cropping would be great, and there's a lot that this photographer could finesse to take this to a next level, but I think it's sitting at a 6, is that right?
Yes.
Which is, a bronze. I just feel that this, for the moment, and I think that's what weddings are, they're moments. And I think you can be a great wedding photographer and just capture all the things that you need to capture. Or you can be a little bit better at wedding photographer by seeing those little moments. And I think that's an art that needs to be rewarded. So I'd like to see it just at least be in the silvers.
Thank you, Beth. So you're going to hold your scores. Can everyone else please rescore? Okay, we've got our scores coming in. And I think I can feel a shift coming on. This image now scores 7, silver award. Well done, team. Okay, I think we're rotating back now. Everybody hunky-dory? Good job, everyone. Okay, next image is... Okay, the judges had a good look and now they're back in their chairs. Scores are coming up. Just coming through now. And this image scores a 5. And I'm looking for a comment, please. Simone, thank you. You're the quickest.
Great image, guys. I think, it scored a 5 and I personally scored it a 5, so I think it sits, in what I agreed it was. I think this could be taken a little bit higher by, it feels like it's a little bit too crunched, and by what I mean with that is that the dark elements in there, like the black in the limestone is just a little bit too obvious. We can soften that down or soften that back. When you try to put too much detail into a photo, it starts to get this weird sort of effect happening where it can just start to distort the photo of the subjects and the outlining between each thing. Potentially shift the couple into the middle of that archway. I have sort of acknowledged that the veil looks like a love heart, which is really cute. I think there's potentially more to be done with this image, but it's greatly shot and seen, but we just need a bit more finesse with it to take it higher.
Excellent. Thank you, Span. Okay, next image. This image has a caption. It's a simple caption. It simply says, "In-camera craft," acknowledging that this is minimal post-production. Okay, judges have had a good look and they are scrutinising and now considering. Scores are coming in. pretty consistent. It's 6s all the way. This image scores 6, a bronze standard. Any volunteers for a comment? Thank you, JR.
Yeah, lovely image, beautiful tones, beautiful moment. As a photographer, even though it's single capture, and that's obviously not the easiest thing to do, like watch where your lines goes. The rope goes through this person on the right's head. If you would have moved more to the right, so you're trying to sort of capture it that you don't have trees, ropes, or branches going through people's heads.
Yeah.
So just watch your timing and your placement. And if people swing, you can, like, as a wedding photographer, you can say, let's do it again. And then, you take a first shot, you see, maybe I better get over there, and then try again. So that's what I recommend. But yeah, beautiful tones.
Yeah, Nathan, just a short, sharp. Sure.
I will be short. For the benefit of the photographer, I felt a lot of warmth from this image. That everything that JR said was correct about the technicals, and that's why it got the score it got. But this image, you did a lot right, photographer. You set the scene so well that we've got the country girl on the swing, and it feels right. Like you've got a good eye for all of this, and it's just these little things that pulled it out of awards.
Yep. Well said, everyone. Right. Okay, next image. Okay, our scores are coming in. Just a couple more. Nearly there. Thank you, judges. Okay, thank you, judges. That's all good. And our score is going to be 7, silver award. Pretty consistent. Anyone like to provide some feedback? Why didn't this get an 8? Any? Let's get Nathan. Do you mind having a chat? What did you like, and can anything else be done to lift it?
I gave it an 8.
Good on you.
The reasons I did was this is quite an exceptional, simple shot. There's a lot of kind of Catholic undertones with a trinity of windows and a little cross in the archway and all the infrastructure behind the couple. And what the photographer's done well is balanced the couple against it, and they are not lost. They are complemented by each other. So it's actually really well done. I think this, as a commercial image, the couple will love this. And I think the photographer's done a lot of things right. So I think it's a good one.
Yep, excellent. It is a good one. Well done. Catholic undertones. Good job, everyone. Thank you. Okay, we're going on to the next image. This image has a caption. Sorry. It is a capture. This is in-camera craft. How are we going, everyone? Good. Thank you. Put our scores here. Start thinking of a comment, because I'm going to be asking. So, scores are just about in. This image scores a 5. And Jazz, thank you for what's your share us your wisdom, please?
Yeah, look, I applaud the photographer for taking the time, put the drone up and take this image. To improve it, I would just take a little bit more care with the, grape. I was want to say grapes, but they're not the grapes. The actual vine behind the bride's head, and also just the magentas as well. Just looks a little bit magenta in parts of the image for me. So just watch that.
Yeah. Thank you. All good. Okay. We're going on to our next image. And we are rotating, of course. So after we finish judging this category, we'll go have a short break, and then we'll be going on to the portrait category. And that will be at 2 p.m. So timings, I think we're on schedule. And that will be our 2 categories for today. So if you can't make it in today, we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Okay, we've got our scores coming in. And this image scores, thank you judges, this image scores 6, bronze standard. Okay. Thanks, Simone. You can offer some helpful advice, yes?
I really enjoyed this image, the lines and the fact that the couple are, fairly engaged with each other. I think just the colouring potentially is a little bit distracting in this particular sense. I would love to see this in black and white and really make the couple pop out more, because the the hallway archway is quite domineering in the photo, and it feels like it is getting a little bit. The couple are getting a little bit lost, even though they are the brightest part of the image. So, yeah, I think it's brilliantly seen and shot, but just a little bit of finessing.
Excellent. Thank you. Okay, well, we are now going to go to there, because that is the winning category. Well done, everybody. Okay, is that going to work for us? I think we should have a blankish screen. Okay, thank you, team. Well done, judges. Happy for any feedback. If it's good, please post it on social media. If it's bad, keep it to yourself. Okay, how'd you go? Good. Thank you, everyone. We're going to have a short break. So we'll be back at 2 p.m. sharp. And I think we're going to have a rest from the live stream. So for those who joined us on live stream, thank you very much. We'll see you back at 2 p.m. And I think we're good to go. Thanks, everyone. Okay, thank you everybody. Sorry for the delay in restarting the portrait category, but welcome back to the Ilford Orloff Awards for 2024. And we have a panel of judges brimming with wisdom and experience and mirth. Mirth this week. Thank you for judges. So we have Simone Addison, Nathan Madigan. I think we glued them to the chairs that they're in. Erica Serena's kindly joined us, and Serena Pierce has also joined us, and the lovely Gary Sarr. How are you, old mate?
Good day, Des.
Good to see you. Thank you for joining, everyone. So we're going into the portrait general category. Now my understanding is that they're all merged into the one general category. There might have been some entered in subcategories, but we're going to see the whole lot together in this category. And this is proudly sponsored by Sony. And Sony have been a supporter since day one for the not only for the Ilford Orloff Awards, but for Pro Photography WA. And we greatly appreciate their ongoing support. What a cool company. You know, just a little one that sort of, you know, we see around the world a little bit. So that's excellent. Thank you, Sony. So I'm going to read out the rules just so we know where we stand. Now, we're not going through all the rules because a lot of them aren't really relevant to judging. So if the images are qualified already in terms of like the date they were captured, if they meet they're in the correct category, that work's already been done by the team. Thank you, team. So portrait category. This is a category is for photographs of people, at least one, or domestic pets. So we may see pets in this category coming up, and can include candid, formal, artistic portraits of families, groups, couples and individuals. Composite images are permitted, provided that the post-production treatment does not significantly alter the image's originality or subject's personality or story. All post-production work must be the work of the entrant or by a retoucher digital artist under the direction of the entrant. However, any substantial digital manipulation or enhancement which significantly alters the image from the original capture must be the work of the entrant and not by a separate digital artist, retoucher, digital enhancer, etc. Entrants will have the opportunity to indicate where an image is predominantly created using in-camera techniques, and I think we might have one or two or more, such as multiple exposures, HDR, focus stacking, pano stitching, etc., with minimal post-production enhancement. This will be declared at the time of judging for the judges to take this into consideration when evaluating an image. Any image that depicts a baby in a pose or a prop that might compromise the baby's safety must be executed with adequate support from an assistant, or composite images used to be used where appropriate. Now we may see pets or pet images. This category includes any images of domesticated animals that captures their appearance, essence or personality, partial capture of their forms or shape from a creative perspective is acceptable. If people are included, they should not be the main element of those types of images. Any questions? Are we raring to go? Have you sharpened your eyeballs? Okay. So we just need to set ourselves up here. I'm going to, it's all a bit of a, just to mention that we are going to do the run through, which is a view of all the images within the category. It's 1 second per image. Some of you may have in the earlier category. So I'll be playing that shortly. I think that's ready to go. So I'll set up the screen so that we can all see it. And this is technology preview of all our images.
Just hang on a bit, we'll get the other judges down. That's right.
Sorry, judges, I should have invited you there. Okay. Any questions? Are we good to go? Thank you, judges. Let us go to... sorry, I need to go to a different screen. We've seen all our judges. We're going to go back to here. And I think we are ready to go for our first image, image number 1 in the Sony portrait category. So if you've just joined us on the live stream, we apologise that we actually rotate the screen for the portrait formatted images, those that are vertical. The reason for that is so that they are seen as big as the landscape shaped images. In other words, this image occupies the entire real estate of the screen that the judges are viewing. Unfortunately, we can't rotate your screen at home, even the projector screen in the room with the audience. So everybody is leaning to the left and rotating their head to get a view. Okay, so our judges have assessed. Going to see scores. Thank you, Serena. Got our scores coming through. Okay. So if we're going to copy that formula, so if you go down to that one, Command C,
Yep.
I actually do this one because there's a font. Into that one. Yep. So we've got a little bug here in the system. Copy up there, Command V. And that's not going to do it for my sake. Just for the moment, copy them down there.
Yep.
I'm just going to doing a little work around here. We've got a bug in our system. Just tab out. This image scores 7 silver award. An opportunity for a challenge here. So I would like to ask for a comment, please. Who volunteers? Sorry, was there a...
Are we reviewing or commenting? Because I can make a comment.
Yeah, I don't think there's any chance for a review, so we can comment. So thank you, Simone. You're going to provide us some wisdom on this image.
Yeah, this is a hauntingly beautiful portrait of this woman. I scored it a 5 because I believe it's in the professional, category. I think what it kept from me from going, pushing it into the award category is just the tiny little details. Her hair is a little bit messy. There's a few flyaways that we can remove. There's a bit of a gap between the white shirt there and her overlay. And I feel like when I'm looking for that really exceptional award quality, I want to see all those things just kind of with that attention to detail. Everything should be like, there we go. Thank you.
Good comment, I like that. Excellent. Thank you, everyone. We're going on to the next image now. Okay, our scores are coming in. Thank you, judge number 1. Yeah, okay, thank you. Okay, do we get scores, guys? How are we going? Have we got all scores? Yeah. Just click. There we go. Okay, this image scores 7. Silver award. Erica, do you want to share us your thoughts? You thought this was a pretty good image.
I do. I love this one. I actually really love the oval potential mat board as well. I think it really complements the shapes of the woman. Loved lots and lots of things about it. Just one little comment to potentially take it up even further, if that was possible. I would have liked to have seen her hand, not her hand, but her arm, perhaps in a slightly different position.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, loved everything else about it.
Lovely. Thank you, Erica. Nice commentary. Okay, next image. How are we going here, everyone? Thank you. Thank you. We just need there. Thank you, folks. That's good. And just carrying. Thank you very much. Thank you, Karen. Okay. Now this image scores 7. Silver award. That completes the trifecta of the first 3 images. Silver, silver, silver. Well done. Okay, who would like to provide some feedback here? Thanks, Serena. The microphone on. We're working it out.
I find this image to be quite haunting. I think the look of the girls on the girl's face is quite beautiful, yet you question as to what she's thinking. I would like to see. I find the red curtain on the left hand side a little distracting, in that if it was a full-length curtain, I think it would frame the image to a better degree, although it does link in with almost the red tones of the violin. The only other thing is I feel that the chair almost needs to be a little bit more obvious, because the position that she's sitting in, you're questioning as to whether she's actually floating or whether she's squatting, or it just seems a little odd. But but overall, her look on her face, I think, is the winner.
Excellent. Yep. Good commentary. Thank you, Serena. Okay, moving on to the next image. So again, we just want to highlight that we're grateful to Sony for sponsoring this category and the awards, and providing a very nice prize. Of course, we have 2 more days of judging after today. I think tomorrow we have video, documentary and fine art. What a fine selection of categories to have a squizzy at. And on day 3 we then have environment and commercial advertising. Okay, we have our scores in. Coming in. This image scores 7, silver award. Who would like to provide comment here? I'm going to go with judge number 2. Nathan, do you mind providing your commentary on?
Yeah, absolutely. The big problem with this photographer is that they're so damn good at what they do, and they're producing really great, high-level, award-level photographs. I think their challenge is to try to pull something into it to make it spark, to make it conflict, to bring out something else unique. They've just nailed such a beautiful textured image. We know that this photographer is a high-level portrait photographer. So all we need is something else in terms of either emotion or insight or something outside of what we've got. But honestly, we can't fault the technique or the visual element.
Excellent. Thank you. Next image. So other events that we have that are connected with the Ilford Orloff Awards, we certainly have the awards evening, the big gala night, where we release all the surprises, or maybe not surprises, maybe it's a given. But we'll never know, and the idea is to come along on the awards night and be part of the excitement. It's kind of interesting, and share the pleasure of winning with the other winners, or maybe it might be you picking up the prize. So we've got our judges working out their scores. Thank you, judges. So we hope to see you at the awards night. It's a great fun occasion. Okay, scores have come in, and this image scores a 6. And I'm going to invite... Anyone like to... Thanks, Simone. Yeah, that would be great.
Just a quick comment. This is a lovely character portrait of this subject. I think that it could have benefited from being potentially a wider crop. I want to see a little bit more of the story of where she is, potentially what she does, what's the reason for the expression. There is a story there. I feel like it's just hidden a smidge. So potentially if the photographer has any additional sort of takes of this subject, then maybe seeing a wider shot to give that more detail. But the portrait and the colours on the subject are just fantastic.
Fantastic. Nice word to finish on. Lovely. Thank you, Simone. Okay, we're going to go to the next image, which we require a rotation. So everybody at home and in the audience can rest their necks. Scores are coming in now. How are we going, team? Who do we need? Judge 1 and Judge 5. And this image scores 6. Bronze accreditation. Thank you, judges. And who would like to? Thanks, Erica. Yeah, you quite like this image.
I do, and I wanted to give it a higher score because what a character. And there's such a story within this image that I absolutely adore. Unfortunately for me, the printing really let it down. It looks a little bit overworked. The person is a little bit too red, a little bit too bright. So that's what held me back from taking this into an award score. But other than that, the story is fabulous.
Thank you, Erica. Right, going on to next image.
Hang on, could we just have a blank screen, please?
Sorry. Can the jury disregard what they've said? Okay, get that one. Okay, we're going back to the correct image here. Okay, thank you, judges. Focus back on, please. Thank you. Right, judges are holding up their panels and a wonderful array of scores we have coming in. And final one is in, just like that. So this image scores 6, and bronze standard. Okay, Serena, thank you. So,
this image to me is very quirky. I think it has a lot of individual sort of style. It reminds me of like an Eastern European or Russian scene with the tones, and also the way it has been set against what could be a wall, a portrait wall, or somewhere in one of these Eastern European cities. I find the different poses of the character that's been shot really portray different elements of his character, and I find that quite appealing. He's almost framed as royalty or someone in high society.
excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Serena. I hope that was useful comments to the photographer. Okay, we're going on to our next image. Right, the judges are scrutinising this. Thinking. Okay, scores are coming in. Okay, just filling them up. Thank you, judges. This image scores 7, Silver Award. Well done. Simone, you liked this image.
Yeah, I think it's a really creative concept. I enjoyed the fact that it's got that, what's that mirror, when it happens when the mirrors, they line up and they kind of all go in that tunnel thing. There's a proper name for it, I'm sure. Yeah, that thing. I personally was trying to find like a little Easter egg within the second and third sort of images as they got smaller. You know, was the person painting the hat a different colour, or was there something changing within each image? Even though they get small quite quickly, I think in that sort of second or third one we can potentially find little bits and pieces. And I don't know whether it's the size of the image itself, if I've missed something, but yeah, that was what I personally think it might take it up a bit of a level.
Great. Thank you, judge number 5. Okay, we're going on to the next image. course, after we finish this stage of digital print judging, finalists will then be invited to print their work, and then we will have the second stage of judging, which is closed because we like to keep the results of that secret. So that'll be secret business happening. That will occur on the 2nd of September, but that won't be open to an audience. That way we can keep the surprises of who actually might be winning the categories and other individual awards. So the judges are now presenting their scores. And come in. This image scores 7, Silver Award. Gary, would you like to provide some feedback, constructive, positive feedback for the author?
There's one more.
Yeah, just make sure that's all good.
Well, they say that the queen of all colours is black, or some photographers do. The really subtle highlight tonings of this image are just exquisite. The reflection of the water draws you in and asks you to find meaning with all of that. And I mean, a portrait is often a secret about a secret, but the more you know, the less it tells you. I think this doesn't tell you very much, so to me that's entrancing. I think I held it back a little bit because I felt that the balance was a little out, and the fabric going up to the left was pulling my eyes away from the central image because it was a little bit too bright. But I scored it in the pro and above level because it was the technique and the quality is beautiful.
Mm. Yes, no, you were spot on the score, Gary, so yep, you were right on. Thank you. Okay, we're going to rotate for the next image. And thank you, judges. Right, this image scores 5. And I'm looking for, we have a review or comment?
No, it's a review.
A review, thank you, Nathan.
I'm
Nathan,
two above.
You certainly are, sir. You're welcome to review.
Definitely worthy of discussion because we'd overlook this as a simple studio portrait and then we might mark it down because there's some imperfections. But this struck me as none of that. This is an authentic, haunting portrait, made more haunting because this girl seems young, but she's got a lot of weight in this look. And so the photographer, I think, has done something a lot more complex with something simple. So I want to hear from the team. I don't want to kind of drive something forward that I'm alone in. But what strikes me is the imperfections. We can see some kind of roughness around the nails and the hand. We can see some veins. This isn't polished up for a perfect portrait. There's something else going on that feels a bit richer to me. So I'd love to hear some thoughts.
Okay, I'll look for volunteers. You're pretty much all on the same level outside of Nathan, but he knows what he's talking about. So thank you, Simone, if you'd like to provide your viewpoint.
Yeah, no, I sort of agree with that sort of haunting look and the unpolished nature of like in the editing where you can see, the woman's like subject's veins, and just the expression is really engaging. I think what it took out for me is the fact that I would like to see a little bit more highlights in the eyes just to make them pop or draw you in a bit more. The strong... the saturation of the red is sort of making it feel more contrived for me. If, say, for example, if it's like a woman like fleeing a bad scenario, the richness of the red, what is the significance of that for me? That's where I'm sort of asking, what is the meaning behind that and what's the story? So,
Great. Can any of the other judges add to the commentary? Erica?
I'm sorry, Nathan, I'm not with you here. I'm a little bit with Simone. First of all, the red I found really overbearing in general, but I have to disagree with her expression. I find it to be just a deadpan expression, and I'm not feeling much from it or seeing anything, like I'm not reading anything into it. So it just felt a little bit, the kind of portrait that any professional photographer should be able to do. I didn't see anything more beyond that, unfortunately.
Erica or Gary, anything to add, guys? No? We're happy with that? Okay, Nathan, you have a right of reply.
Yeah, great. I think a professional photographer wouldn't have done it like this. They would have, probably fixed up the things that you guys might have noticed. I think that the red is not only extraordinarily difficult to get that saturation so saturated but not be blown out. That allows us a few directions for the story. Is this Little Red Riding Hood in the aftermath of everything? Is it somebody just snatching up a cloak and they are royalty and out into the world? Like, we can infuse some ideas, but they're just ideas. Don't kind of believe me on this. I don't know this girl. I don't think the highlights in her eyes are too much or too little, because we can see every little bit of detail, and I know this is digital, and if it goes to print we will see every bit of detail, and I would love to see this in print. So look, of course it's contrived, it's in a studio, it's set up, but within that contrivedness I feel something really real in it. So if I'm alone, then please score what you believe, but it did make an impact on me, which is why I gave it a 7.
Yeah, well done, sir. Thank you. Thank you for speaking up. Okay, so Nathan's score stands, and I'll get everybody else to rescore. Thank you, judges. So this image will remain at a 5. Thank you for your discussion, judges. Right, we're going to go back to landscape format. Right, thank you, judges. Please begin your analysis. Thinking of a score, then what might you say if asked? How are we going, everyone? Scores are coming in. We're seeing some nice big numbers here. So this image scores a 9, a gold award. First for the competition, so and well done, judges. So I would like a comment, like what would you, What can you say to a gold award? I'm sure there's some commentary, maybe words of appreciation.
Oh, excellent framing and the contrast and the black and white, just everything suits this composite so well. Even the branches themselves are soft but complementary to that sort of harsh angular jetty. Personally, the only thing that brought it down for me was the fact that the darks, like the shadows, are a little bit too dark. I just want to see a little bit more detail in the suit and the separation between the jacket and the pants. But yeah, I think everything marries really beautifully in this, so well done.
Nice comments. Maybe something to consider for when this finalist goes to print. Hope they get their feedback. Right, I think we're going on to the next image. We are in the middle, we're getting close to the middle of the Portrait General category. Sponsored by Sony, our very good friends, our very good long-term friends, great supporters of the industry. Our judges' scores are now coming in. Thank you, judges. This image scores a Silver Plus Award, an 8 award. Silver Plus. Okay, I'm looking for comments. Anyone who want to volunteer, or should I pick on you? Thank you, Nathan.
Absolutely. This has everything that sits in kind of mythology, and every element contributes to a greater story. We're not just seeing a beautiful portrait, but we're seeing the setting sun at the end of a battle and the remains of potentially a whole legacy. And so it wraps it up really well. It's a really powerful image. Well done.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to do judge change. Simone, thank you so much. I know you have to sort of head off soon, so I think we've timed that pretty well. So much appreciation for Simone Addison with her excellent judging prowess. Thank you. So Rebecca Johansson is going to join us now. Thank you, Rebecca. And we can rotate this one. So we'll do that. We'll just get Rebecca all settled in there. All good. Everybody's ready. So here we go to the next image. So if you've just joined us on live streaming and you think we've got the images around the wrong way, the judges are seeing it the right way, and that's to the entrance advantage. So our scores are coming in. And this image scores a 7 Silver Award. Right, Rebecca, you're in the hot seat straight away. Shall we fire you off with some helpful, constructive commentary? Why did you like this image?
I really loved the sort of juxtaposition between the sort of, it's sort of, you know, her outfit, and then you've got that little panel at the top that is very quite modern, and I liked the sort of the contrast for that. I'm not sure how I would improve it. I scored it, you know, in a silver, and I think, yeah, it's really lovely.
Spot on. Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, we're going to rotate back. And next image.
Des Burt has just taken a step off the panel at the moment, and I am now stepping in as Judge Supervisor, Karen McGlue, here to help the judges put their scores through. And we're getting some scores coming through. Just waiting on those final scores now. We have a very even scoring range there, and this image is rewarded a silver at 7. Next image. Comment, please. Serena, would you like to comment on this image?
The image is beautiful in that it really tells a story of the woman, her family member, husband, whatever behind, her maybe workplace, her look of satisfaction, and the colours also, her bright sari against the almost muted sort of colours of the background. I may have shot it maybe a little bit lower down to sort of get her a little bit higher in the shot with her head position. And maybe also to see then her feet in the image as part of her whole overall dress. And maybe I would have positioned her perhaps not so central in the image as far as composition goes. But otherwise, I think it really does tell a beautiful story.
Thanks, Serena. Thanks for that comment. We will go to the next image, please. We're just rotating that screen portrait, and I have the next image. As the judges are going up to review those images, we'd like to again thank the sponsor of Sony for sponsoring the Portrait Award. We really appreciate all of the support our sponsors can give us. The judges are scrutinising this image and having a good look at it. And on the panel at the moment, we have Rebecca Johansson, Nathan Madigan, Erica Serena, Serena Pierce, and Gary Zara. As we've got the scores coming through, this image receives a 6, a bronze award. Can I please have a comment from you, Erica?
What wonderful posture. I wish mine was like that. But I love the way that her skirt looks like it's just part of the stool. I actually think that's quite a cute little, almost a comical element to it. Love her expression, the way she's sitting. The printing really let this one down for me though. Overall, it feels too bright. The highlights are pushing, being blown out. And I'm not loving that the bottom of the, like the backdrop at the bottom near her feet changes from one colour to the next. And there's just a few little bits and pieces in that background that I would have fixed up. But yeah, her hair, the way she's sitting, her expression, really lovely.
Congratulations to the photographer on a bronze with a high level of visual communication and interpretation of the subject. We're going to the next image. We're just rotating our screen. if you're able to make it down here to North Metropolitan TAFE at 30 Aberdeen Street, we're just across from the library. Pop in and see us tomorrow. We've got the environment category and the commercial and advertising categories on, and we'd love to see you down here. Oh, sorry, that was Wednesday's judging. Tuesday's judging is video, documentary and fine art. We'd love to see you down here. Judges are now showing us their scores. This image scores an 8, a silver plus. Congratulations to the photographer. Nathan, Gary, either Nate, yeah.
Oh, I need more practice. Great.
Gary's about to give us a comment.
I'm a bit of a black and white aficionado, but the tones are beautiful. The depth in the foliage is just so subtle and three-dimensional. The expression I just found to be perfect for this pose, and the surprise element as well when you turn it around the other way and see exactly what's going on as you come closer. It's subtle, it's ethereal, it's everything I love about a good portrait.
Thank you, Gary. So congratulations to the photographer on a silver plus with a high level of creativity and conceptual development there. We are moving on to the next image. Judges are just reviewing the image and finalising their scores, which are about to come through. This image scores a 5. Nathan, would you have a comment for us for this image, please?
Yep, the photographer knows what they're doing because they've got a really tough time of day and they've kind of arranged their subjects so that their heads are back towards the sun so they can evenly expose everything. Like, everything's done quite well, but I can't really see any story, any characterisation. There's some cheeky faces. The photographer could take a series out of this and see if there's some action, some relationship, something else that's happening in maybe a series of more than one, but as it stands, I'm not seeing enough to see it go super high.
Thank you, Nathan, for that comment. We're going to move to the next image. This image has a caption, which will be read out in a moment. So the caption for this image: Tony and his hot top hat, every good hat. Tony has a story. He recalls riding the streets of Paris with it perched on his head and using it to collect coins while busking. Now at Lunar Circus in Carradale, it gives shape to a new character. Would we like that caption again, or are we good with that? Judges are just getting their scores through now. This image scores a 7, a silver award. I'm looking for a comment. Gary, if you'd like to make a comment for us about this image.
I was probably the most harsh on the panel with this, which is a bit of a problem. I'd just like to explain why. It's got a lot of potential in the printing quality. The tones for his face with the shadows and the grayscale in the background are really clever, and the silhouette, the shadow is terrific. I think if it had a little bit more refinement, a little bit of more of a graphic nature, I could happily bump that up a couple of points myself. And I think evening out the tones would help concentrate the focus on where we want to look, and that is predominantly the face, which has got such a great expression on it.
Thank you, Gary. We're just going to have a judge change right now. Serena, do you mind having a break for a moment? And we're going to get Shireen Van Chul to step onto the panel. And while we're changing over there, again, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Sony, who has kindly sponsored the portrait category. And we are now ready for our next image. As a part of the Ilford Orloff Awards this year, we also have the State Library WA Narrative Award, which is being judged separately to the next 3 days proceeding by an awesome panel of judges, and the outcome of that award will be notified at the presentation evening, which we hope you can all get along to, which is on the 19th of September at the State Library, where the finalist prints for these whole awards will be exhibited within the State Library until February 2025. The judges are now putting through their scores. Just waiting on one final score. And this image receives an 8, a Silver Plus award. Erica, would you like to comment on this image for us, please?
Can I pass this on to someone else, actually?
Yes, no problem. Nathan, do you have something to add to this image?
Rebecca does. She's on
I can't give much constructive criticism because I just think it's beautiful. It's so exquisitely done. It is beautiful in having the three. It's all the detail is in all the right places, and I do love that little extra element of the cutting of the cords, which you could read into, being a womanly, umbilical cords. You could read a lot of different things into it. So I think this is exquisitely done.
Thank you for those amazing comments there. Superior visual and emotional impact as part of the category for a Silver Plus at an 8, and congratulations to the photographer. We're going to move to the next print. Those of you in live stream land, apologies, you're seeing this on its side. You just need to turn your head, just like everyone in our audience here. The judges are reviewing this image at a full screen in a portrait orientation. Judges are just looking at that image, and we have Rebecca Johansson, Nathan Madigan, Erica Serena, Shireen Van Chul and Gary Saar on the panel at the moment, and the scores are coming in. This image scores a 7 at a silver award. We have a review. So Gary would like to review the image. So if you would like to speak to the image now, Gary, and while our other judges are going to consider what Gary has to say.
Lighting, 10 out of 10. Background subtlety, so not competing with this, with the face, the very subtle tones in the face, 10 out of 10. The sculpturing of the fill light in a different colour temperature, filling in with that lovely blue shadow detail is exquisite. I think the photographer knows his colour temperatures or her colour temperatures. They know where to draw the focus into. They know how to pose. It's not an in-your-face, really colourful shot that's grandstanding and trying to be overly glamorous, overly pretentious. It's very subtle. It's that coming back to that secret within a secret. Her expression is perfect. It harkens back to my sort of earlier days with photography, where there was some beautiful portrait dance photography around, and that's why I gave it a 9.
Nathan, would you like to have a comment?
Yeah, for those listening, I'm getting close because I'm trying to work out if it's sharp or not, because I've got this sense that it's soft. And I don't know if it's just me, because, you know, I agree with you with everything, but also I feel like the dancer's doing the heavy lifting and the photographer's done their job with the lighting and seized the moment. As I travel across this image, I can't land on detail. And I feel like for something like this, our eyes are drawn down to the floor and I'm losing it on the feet. But I'm really, really open, because I don't know if I'm just not seeing it. Is it sharp all the way through? Am I missing something?
I didn't notice that it wasn't sharp. I'm with Gary in terms of, the aesthetic of her positioning. It's absolutely stunning. Love her expression, love the lighting, all of those things that he's already mentioned. I'm not at all distracted by the floor. But if anything, I actually feel like it's a little bit hazy. Not in a sharpness sense, but in a lighting sense. And I don't know if there's a bit of banding going on in that right-hand window. So it's more so the technical aspects for me that kept my score where it was. So if this was printed at a better quality, I absolutely would have given it probably at least 2 more points.
Awesome. Shireen, can you add to the conversation?
Sure. Is it on?
It's on.
Hi, yes. Can I tell people what I gave? I gave this image, an 8. Love it. I think it's fantastic. Sitting next to Gary, I hang my head in shame. I should have given it a 9, at least. I think that the flare on the right-hand side, the lighting, actually, it creates the movement, it creates the feel for me. And I think that the lighting is superb, like what you were saying. That's why I scored it so high. Great expression, great posing. Is it a little bit soft? To me, it's about the emotive expression around the dancer as well as the dancer, and I almost can feel the music there as well. So that's why I scored it what I did.
Rebecca, do you have anything to add to the?
Nothing really to add. I think I love all the discussion, and the lighting is absolutely beautiful and not an easy lighting to do either. So I definitely think I'm moving up.
Thank you. Gary, your right of reply?
Yes, just a couple of points I'd like to address. This is just my personal view, and and that of perhaps some very famous photographers. The sharpness is probably one of the least important things in a portrait like this. And the other thing about the obscure sort of details, the flatness of the background has been deliberately knocked. The contrast has been deliberately knocked back to bring the focus where it belongs. But also, as we know, blue cool tones recede and warm tones come forward. So by the fill light being cleverly filled with a very desaturated or slightly cool tone, it's deliberately making her obscure, and here again it's that secret within a secret. So I think it's not a jump in your face kind of a goal, but I think it's just so craftily, it's subtly handled, and it's worth a gold in my view.
Thank you for your comments, Gary. You will hold your score at a 9. All the other judges have the chance to rescore and let us know what you would like to see this image as. This image moves up to an 8. It is now a Silver Plus award. Congratulations. We're just rotating the monitor again for the next image. Our judges are judging these images on an ISO calibrated monitor here in the North Metropolitan TAFE Lecture Theatre near the library. And our audience is viewing it on a large screen which is separated off somewhat to the images. So what our judges are reviewing sometimes shows up a little bit different on the large projector screen and the live stream due to the calibration of the monitors. So our judges are reviewing the images on an awesome ISO monitor. Our scores are now coming through for this image. And this image scores a silver at a 7. Yep. And Shireen's going to review this image.
Okay, yes, can everybody hear me? Good. Okay, I scored it a 9, and the only reason why I didn't score it even more is because this one's a little bit concerned about that little foot. But apart from that, I think it's absolutely stunning. It's like a little water nymph. Well, she's like a little water nymph, and even her expression tells you that, which I think is just superb. The underwater posing here is just, yeah, it's very difficult, and people don't realise to be able to get the hand in that form, that way, the hair to surround the face, just, haloing it that way. I don't think people understand, a lot of people understand the degree of difficulty that the artist has, so well done to the photographer.
I wish you hadn't pointed out the foot, because that didn't bother me until you pointed it out. But I loved, everything about it that you mentioned. And when I got up close, I love her expression even more. The thing that kept me from giving it a 9, I think I scored it an 8, was actually the positioning of her hand. Because to me, it looks like she should be holding or cradling something, and there was nothing there. So that's the one little detail that I thought, if she had, if she was holding on to a bit of one of the leaves or something, it would have just elevated it to a gold for me. But I even just love the texture, the subtle texture throughout the water. And it's one of those images that, in a sense, breaks a little bit of one of my particular rules, that she is so bright, but I actually love that about her, because nothing is blown out. And she deserves to be, obviously, the feature in this photograph.
Thanks, Erica. We'll go to Gary now.
Well, I almost feel like just forget my score because I scored it really, really low. And I don't think it's probably the fault of the photographer. I think it's just my perception of this image. I gave it a lousy score. I gave it 4. And what I didn't like was the brightness of the backside and the distracting detail. But at the same time, I can see the cheekiness of the nymph-like expression and so on. So I would say that I was a little harsh.
Thanks, Gary. Nathan, what would you like to add?
We're still on, right? Look, we're talking about gold. So, Shireen, if you can get the answers for us, then I'm with you. And the answer, or the question is...
Hold on, Shireen.
The question is the soft brightness of the woman compared to the more contrasty detail of the foliage, and maybe I'm leading the witness, so you can give me an answer to that. And then the exposure with the foot and whether that can be explained. But the more I'm looking at this, the more I'm enjoying it. And honestly, if it gets to print, I'm sure the photographer will treat that. But it's just that soft brightness of the human. But honestly, I'm really open and listening.
Rebecca, would you have anything to add? Shireen's eager there.
Nothing really to add. I had this as an 8, so I really do love it. I think it's absolutely beautiful. So, yeah, nothing I can really add.
Awesome, thank you. Shireen, your right of reply.
Thank you. Look, she's a nymph. Okay, so she's almost got this illuminance coming out of her. That's what nymphs do in the water, you know. They create sparkle and they fracture light and, you know, all of that sort of stuff. So to me, I think that this is a really successful piece. Okay, so her butt may be a bit bright, but you know what? She's allowed to have a bright butt. She's actually a nymph, okay? I really can see the beauty in this, and it's really ethereal, and I think that it'll be absolutely magic once it gets onto a piece of paper. I think that next step here will show us what we're really looking at.
Thank you for your comments. Shireen, you will hold your score at a 9, and everybody else, please rescore. Congratulations to the photographer. We've moved this print to an 8, a Silver Plus award. Awesome commentary from the judges there, and well done on the challenge. We'll continue to keep our comments succinct, and we will move on to the next print. Yes. Yes. Sorry, we just had a little pause there. We're going to move on to the next print now. Our judges are reviewing this image here that's on the screen. And our scores are starting to come through. Just waiting on our judges to finalise their scoring. This image scores a 6, a bronze. Shireen, would you like to make a comment?
Sure, I'm getting hot on this chubby stuff, aren't I? Loving the style this artist has, the colours and the transparency of their subject's world. I think that's really cool. This one's really, I think it's really fun. I love how she's looking up to the knives. To me, that's magic, especially seeing as she's in the kitchen. I've had enough and look at those knives. I really do enjoy this historical image making and this environmental kind of piece of work, these pieces of work like this.
Since Karen's distracted for the photographer, the only thing that pulled me down was obviously it's a very wide lens, and so the distortion has pulled the hand and the cup to such an enormous size that it just threw me a bit. So in your future series, which hopefully you do because these are brilliant, maybe a 50mm or an 85 or something. Thanks.
Thank you for that comment there, Nathan. Awesome job there. We're going to move to the next. Pardon? That was the comments, but all good. This is our next print. If you'd like to view this judging in person, we're at 30 Aberdeen Street in Northbridge at North Metropolitan TAFE, and we're just across from the library. You're welcome to come down and see our judging this afternoon of portrait. Tomorrow we've got video, documentary and fine art. And on Wednesday we have environment and commercial advertising categories. Our judges have reviewed the image and our scores are starting to come through. And we have fairly consistent judging across the panel here. And this image scores a... One moment, we've got a bit of a technical glitch happening here.
It's just for me. Just tap it out.
Yep. This image scores a 4. A competent. Gary, would you like to make a comment for the photographer, please?
This has got plenty of potential. I would have scored it a couple of points higher than this if the tonal range and the highlights and the midtones had been extracted and finessed to separate those tones. Also, the skin is a little bit bleached out, but it's a really good expression and an interesting shot.
Thanks for those comments, Gary. Nathan and Erica will give you a break on the panel, and we will have Jasmine and Serena step on. And while that change is taking place, we'd like to announce the panel being Rebecca Johansson, Serena Pierce, Jasmine Sky, Shireen Van Chul and Gary Saar. And they've settled in now, so we're going to move to our next image. Along with the judging happening down here at North Metropolitan TAFE, we've also got our awards evening on the 19th of September. So if you'd like to see all of these awesome images in print, they will be, all the finalist images that are printed will be hanging at the State Library of Western Australia, and on the awards evening on the 19th of September, all of the finalists and winners will be announced. So it's an awesome chance to come down and see whose work it is and who made the finalists and the amazing imagery that they've produced. Our scores for this image are coming through. And we have fairly even scoring across the panel there. Well done, judges. Good teamwork. And this image scores an 8, a silver plus. Rebecca, would you like to speak to this image?
Beautifully executed. Obviously, the photographer is very, very skilled in this type of portrait. Everything is beautifully conceptualise. If there is a little bit of a story, it was a little bit missed on me. That would probably have been the only thing to take me a little bit higher.
Thanks, Rebecca. The next image. So the judges here are reviewing their scores and they're coming up with a score based off a judging criteria they've been given to provide that score for them. So there is a range of scoring with some criteria that they're assessing each image against. And the scores are starting to come through now. Thank you, judges. This image scores a 7, a silver award. Jasmine, do you have something you would like to say for this image?
Yeah, I want to congratulate the artist. This is a beautiful image. I really enjoyed the man who clearly is like getting on, and like it's a little bit of a, like, you could read into the story so well of you know, maybe this is his house and it's not as, he's not as clear as the house, and I just feel like, yeah, beautifully done.
Thanks, Jasmine. Shireen, we'll give you a break from the panel for now, and we're getting Jessica Truscott to step onto the panel. Thank you for your comments and judging, Shireen. And we're going to move to the next image. We've just rotated that screen for the benefit of the judges to see it in the full screen on the ISO calibrated monitor. So unfortunately our live view people will have to turn their heads, as well our audience here in the room. Our judges are reviewing this image based off that criteria I was talking about before, and they are coming up with their scoring based off what they see on our ISO monitor. This image scores a 5, professional range. Gary, would you like to comment on this image, please?
This is an authentic image. It's got all its little bodily imperfections, and I'm glad it wasn't retouched out, because I wouldn't have scored it any higher. I was a little bit on the low side for this one because, well, the expression I think is fantastic. I scored it low because I felt that there was a lot of sort of highlight, distracting sort of details in the centre of the image, and I would perhaps like to have been focused more on the facial expression, which is a great one.
Thanks for your comment, Gary. Professional range is competency across most areas and exemplifies what one would expect from a professional photographer. We will move on to the next image. Our judges are just finalising their score and settling back into their seats. Thank you, judges. This image scores a 6, a bronze, with high level of visual communication and interpretation of the subject. Well done, judges. Great teamwork. You all scored exactly the same. Who would like to provide a comment? Yeah, Gary, thanks.
It's a lovely environmental portrait. The expression is spot on. I like the legs apart, just how a bloke sort of sits like that in his sort of shed. I scored it a little bit down because of the hotness of the shirt and a little bit of distraction on the left-hand side where the background is just competing with the face. But I like the way the face is nicely separated from the background. But if that was toned down in that central area where the shirt, the left background is, I think it could go up a point or two.
Thanks for those comments, Gary. We'll move on to the next print. We'd like to thank Sony again for sponsoring this portrait category. The winner of this category will receive a certificate, a digital badge, the winner of this category will receive a certificate, a digital badge, portrait corner and sashes, and a $1,000 voucher to be used on Sony products at Camera Electronic. And so all of those who become finalists will print those images and they will be reviewed again on Print Judging Day, which is closed judging. But if you'd like to see those prints, as I said, you can go to the award evening on the 19th of September or review the exhibition at the State Library of Western Australia. Our scores have come in and this print scores a 6, a bronze. Jessica, could you please provide us a comment for this image?
Sure. I think this is a beautiful glamour portrait that if this was commissioned, this dancer would be very, very pleased by. But
Jessica.
Speak up, please.
I think it's a beautiful portrait of a dancer, but I'm not really getting more than beauty from it. There's not a lot of story or intrigue for me to kind of award more points for it, and perhaps the saturation, especially in the shoes, is a little overdone for my tastes.
Thank you. Thank you for those comments and that feedback. We will move to the next image. Just rotating that screen back. We'd like to thank our judges for their expertise and time at judging this Ilford Orloff Awards for 2024. We really appreciate their advice and scrutiny of our images that appear on the screen, and as we will when they review the finalist images in the print category as well. Our judges are finalising their scores and they're coming through. And this image scores an 8, a silver plus. Congratulations to the author. Rebecca, do you have something to say for this image, please?
Yeah, what a great environmental portrait. It's just got everything. I love that you two sort of, who you would think would be the two central characters who are in the foreground looking straight at the camera, but then it almost just gets stolen by the gentleman in the back who's just more animated in life. And then you've got the element of the dogs coming in there as well. It's just brilliant. The only thing that I'd probably like is a little bit darker. I feel like I'd like a little bit more of them to stand from, I know it's an environmental portrait, but just a little bit darkening around the top, just so you really get those key images, but it's brilliant.
Thank you very much for those comments. Gary and Rebecca will give you a break and we'll get Erica and... no, awesome commentary, but it's we'll have Nathan and Erica step on. So we now have Nathan Madigan, Serena Pierce, Jasmine Sky, Jessica Truscott and Erica Serena on our panel. As we're just getting our judges sorted, we're looking to move to the next image. Are we all ready there? Yep. Thank you. Excellent. Our judges are reviewing this image and coming up with their final scores. We're entering them into the system, and this image scores a 5, a professional image. Jasmine would like to challenge? Oh, no. Comment?
Yeah, no, I just want to help the artist by saying this was a really strong image straight up, but it was let down for me by the fact that she's not actually looking straight at you. She's kind of looking a little bit up. And, yeah, it kind of lost the connection for me with that. But, yeah, well done.
Awesome. Thank you for those comments. That we will move to the next image. So for all of you in live stream land, we're currently judging the portrait category of the 2024 Ilford Orloff Awards. Our judges are just finalising their scores. This image scores a 6, a bronze award. Serena, would you like to comment on this image, please?
This image intrigued me.
With the microphone, please.
This image intrigued me. I thought it was quite unique. It reminded me of an Alice in Wonderland moment. And I think the vibrant colours really do it for me, and her eyes as well. Her eyes are sort of, I think you're drawn into her eyes, and I think it has a story behind it. Her eyes, although the image is not sharp, it's not meant to be sharp, her eyes are sharp, and that's what you're drawn into.
Thank you for those comments. We will move to the next image. I'd like to thank North Metropolitan TAFE for hosting us here today and supporting us with the 2024 Orloff Awards. Our judges are reviewing the image up on the ISO screen, and we're just waiting for their scores to come through. And the scores are coming through. The team is doing a great job at scoring those images. This image scores a 6, but I'm pretty sure Nathan Madigan is going to review this image on a 9.
Yeah, look, I gave it a 9. As a team, yes, let's get the right score for this, but I can't fault it. I know it's set up at studio, but I can't fault it. It's beautiful in every regard. We've got texture and we've got repeated elements and we've got this like gorgeous construction that in itself is an organic kind of shape. And then this contrast with the soft human form and then the soft fabrics. There's a lot of details that needed to get right, and everything's right, including that hand that has the exact separation. I gave it a 9 because I think it needs to be talked about a whole lot, and somebody talked me out of it. Otherwise, oof.
We'll go to Jasmine there. Jasmine, would you like to make a comment, please?
Yeah, I feel like for me, I wanted to really love this image, and I look at her face and there's just no emotion. Like, there's nothing. And I feel like structurally, yeah, like the background is impeccable. Like, I can't fault the background. But we're looking at the portrait, and for me, there's just not enough there. But I'm listening.
Thanks, Jessica.
I agree with Jasmine in that it had all of the elements for me to want to love this photo, but the energy of this dancer was lacking. I think if you have someone that has the ability to pull those kind of shapes, there's more that could have been done to give energy to this photo. And while the hand is graceful, it just cuts through that architecture of this building. If it kind of, with all the triangles and the legs, if that hand also made some kind of a triangle and just communicated with her place in this world, I would have given it more, but not finding that.
Serena, do you have anything to add?
I would have liked to have actually seen more of her shadow in the image, and I feel that darkness of her shadow would have added to the dark elements within the image. And I also would have liked to have seen, although I love the way that the raised hand is intersecting literally at the wrist into the image. I would have shot it a little bit to the left side, and because even though the elements are so beautiful, there are two pink things, two pink lines on the left-hand side versus one on the right-hand side. So which is a little distracting for me.
Erica, did you have anything to add?
A little bit with the ladies on the panel here. It's the expression that didn't allow me to take it up any further. I also am not a massive fan of the heavy vignette in the corners, and I think this could have been stronger as a square crop.
Nathan, your right of reply.
Great. Yeah, I love that you've all picked up probably the most powerful piece of this image, in that her expression is like, what else could it do? Would she smile at us? Would she act as if this is hurting her limbs, twisted like that? Should she be acting like this is painful? Because what she's doing has this smug, so relaxed expression to counteract something that's so disciplined and so difficult. Even this left arm just flopped like that with a relaxed casual shirt. I think it's really pushing this idea of how difficult something is to do and how chill she is about it, even with that relaxed wrist. Like, there is nothing that screams tension in this image, even though it's wrapped in tension. She has become a piece of architecture, and she's got that expression to match it, yet she's still organic. And I think that everything in here is built for leading our eyes down, journeying around this image like a piece of architecture, and I think that expression actually works. So I'm feeling an energy. It's just the kind of energy we feel when we look at a building. It's not particularly human, but it's got this strength about it, this timeless strength. So I'm actually quite happy with my 9 now. So I encourage you guys to just rethink and see where you land on this.
Thank you for that. those comments, Nathan. You hold your score at a 9. Everybody else has the right to rescore this image. And this image scores a 7, a silver award. We'll move on to the next print. Okay. Judges, the scores are coming through. Thank you. This image scores a 5, a professional level of criteria. Nathan, would you have something to comment on this image, please?
Yeah, sure. I think that the photographer has got an idea in their head, and this is the beginning of it. It isn't quite there yet for this one, but as a series maybe, as a rotation maybe, as a play of texture or contrast, there's a lot that can be done. I feel like we're on step 1 of about 3 more steps to make this something unique.
Thanks for that comment there, Nathan. We're going to move to the next image. Judges are coming through with their scores now. This image scores a 7, a silver award. Serena, would you like to give us a comment on this image, please?
This is a fabulous environmental image as well. It really tells a story of life. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more focus of the girl in the background. It seems to be that the focus is on the fellow in the foreground, secondly the dog, and the third the girl. But I would have, in the story, to my mind, I would have liked to have seen more focus on both the man in the foreground and the girl and the dog, and then the background being less in focus.
Thank you for those comments, Serena. We'll give you a break now, actually, and we'll get Gary Saar to step on for you. As we're rotating that screen, the panel now will be Nathan Madigan, Gary Saar, Jasmine Sky-Smith, Jessica Truscott, and Erica Serena. And the next image is in that portrait orientation, so we have moved that screen. And our audience are now turning their heads to have a look at it, as you'll have to do in live stream world. And we're just looking at that image in on our ISO calibrated screen to review it in as much pixel detail as possible. Our judges' scores are coming through. Just waiting on our last score there. This image scores a 6, a bronze. Jessica, would you like to comment on this image, please?
I would totally love to know what she said a second after this was taken. I feel like she has a lot of stories to tell.
Volume up, please.
And for someone that had such an...
It's for the room.
Is it on now? Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I just feel like she has so much story to her that the tonal range in this, I find, falls flat. And I'd almost want maybe more contrast or something more punchy for such a punchy type of character. There's also that distortion with the lens that just her hands are quite wide as well.
Thank you for those comments. So we're going to review the next image. So this morning we've hosted the wedding category, which was sponsored by Jorgensen Album with Fitzgerald's. And the category we're now judging is the portrait category, which is sponsored by Sony. Our judges are just finalising their scores and we're having a look at the image. Judges' scores are coming in. If we can just hold them there a moment longer, thank you. Excellent. This image scores a 6, a bronze award. Gary, would you like to speak to this image for us, please? A comment.
A really good environmental portrait. The tones are handled reasonably well.
I think it's off.
This is a really good environmental portrait. The tones are handled reasonably well. I think there's potential for some upside with a little bit more focus on the depth of tones could be improved, and mainly focusing on his face a little bit more rather than the apron and the immediate foreground on the table, and it has the potential to go 1 or 2 points higher if some more attention is given to that, even maybe introducing some sort of a tone to it, some sort of a sepia tone.
Thank you for those comments, Gary. We're going to move to the next image. Thank you, judges. The scores are coming through. Just hold them up there a moment longer, please. And we have a 6 for this image, a bronze. Erica, would you like to provide a comment for this image, please?
What a great, expressive face. I see a lot of... a lot of expression, even though at first glance it looks like he's not giving you much. There is actually quite a lot in there for me. And I love the simplicity of it. I would have taken it even higher if there's a bit of, I don't even know what it is, but there's some stuff going on just behind the person's head, like around his ear and shoulder, that I can't quite make out what it is. And had it... if that wasn't there and it was addressed, I would have gone even higher. I think it's a beautiful portrait.
Thank you for those comments, Erica. We're moving to the next image. Our judging panel currently consists of Nathan Madigan, Gary Saar, Jasmine Sky-Smith, Jessica Truscott and Erica Serena. They're scrutinising this image and they're reviewing for their finals, for their scores. Our scores are coming through. Just hold those up for one more second there. We're just popping them in. Thank you, judges. This image scores an 8, a silver plus. Nathan obviously wanted that to go a bit higher, so would you like to make a comment on that image, Nathan?
Yeah, look, sometimes beauty speaks for itself, and this image holds that beauty so well. And look, I gave it a gold, and if we got to talk about it, we'd probably talk about the themes and, you know, how much detail is in the whites and etc. But, you know, it's just stunning. Well done to the photographer. They've nailed such a beautiful, humble, powerful image. I love this one.
Thank you for your comments and remarks there. We're going to have a panel change. We're going to have Jasmine jump off for a moment and Johannes Reinhardt step on. And we're also having Erica Serena step off while Rebecca Johansson steps on. Our next image is in that portrait orientation, and just while we're getting that screen set up, we have Nathan Madigan, Gary Saar, Johannes Reinhardt, Jessica Truscott and Rebecca Johansson on our panel now, and we're having the next image. So those of you in live stream and here in our audience at North Metro TAFE, we are looking at it sideways. This image is actually in portrait orientation, but for today we're just reviewing it on the screen in full screen. Our scores are coming through from our judges. This image scores an 8, a Silver Plus award. Gary, would you like to comment on this image for us, please?
An exquisite black and white, wonderfully held tonal range, ever so light grey background, which is just allowing those highlights to come through with the face. I really loved it. I gave it a 9, and it deserves all of the scores the judges gave it, which is a high silver.
Awesome, thank you for those comments there. The scoring needs to be 2 points away for a judge to be able to review this image, and unfortunately in this case there was not that leeway. The judges came across quite consistently there with their scoring, and it received a Silver Plus. So we are moving to the next image, which is in landscape orientation. So if you are able to book in and make it to the award evening, our tickets are available through Facebook on Humanitics. There's a link there on Facebook on the Pro Photography WA Facebook page. We'd love it if you booked in and came down. There'll be some food there and some drinks to celebrate the awesome print awards, the prints that will be on show, and the finalists of all of the categories. And we will see who the finalists and winners are. Not only that, you'll be able to look at the exhibition which starts that evening, and that will be in the State Library of Western Australia all the way through to February 2025. Our judges' scores are starting to come through. And we have consistent scores across the board, and this image scores a silver. Johannes, would you like to make a comment for this image, please?
Okay. This portrait, environmental portrait, it's got an amazing background. He's a model maker. I think if he would hold some tools and have more engagement with, so he blends into the room with what he's doing rather than just sitting on the chair like he's being placed, I think that would elevate an image like this.
Thank you for those comments there, Johannes. Lovely, educational, short and succinct. That's amazing. Thank you. We will move to the next image. Scores are coming through now. Thank you, judges. This image scores a 5. Professional competency. Could we please have a comment from Johannes?
Okay. I really love the softness and the feel of this image, and which I think the color really helps. At the same time, I think for us to go higher, we probably need to, if the photography thinks about posing, and maybe have in this image, the eyelashes a bit sharper. That might help for the next time. Thank you.
Thanks, Johannes, for those comments. Our next image is in landscape orientation, but we're going to have a bit of a panel change while that screen's being rotated. We're going to get Jasmine Sky Smith to step back on. Nathan, if you don't mind taking a break. And we're going to get Jessica to have a bit of a break and Erica to jump back on the panel. Thank you guys for all of your experience and expertise and commentary on the judging. It's been awesome. And we're going to move to our next image. Our judges' scores are coming through. And we have fairly consistent scoring across the range. And this image scores a 4. A competent, exhibits professional proficiency and technique, and content may need to be more engaging, innovative or creative is the criteria for that. Could we please have a comment from you, Gary?
Lovely serene expression. It probably failed to deliver in the light tones, the overuse of the light tones for most of the image. I can see where the photographer was trying to create the intensity in the eyes and not have anything else compete with it, but it does compete with it a little bit too much. So I think it actually does need more tonal treatment to the right side of the face.
Thank you for your... Jasmine has something to add?
Sorry, just to help the artist, I just want to say beautifully sharp, but to help it maybe the angle that it's taken on, it's just not super flattering the angle that we've gone from. So if you want to go more straight on rather than shooting up, and it makes the face a little bit too wide.
Thank you for those added comments. We're moving on to the next image. Our judges are approaching the ISO monitor there to review the image on our calibrated screen. And again, I'd like to thank Sony for their support in sponsoring this category. Without our sponsors' support, we wouldn't be able to have such awesome prizes and excellent display of imagery at the Ilford Orloff Awards. Our judges' scores are coming through. And this image scores a 5, a professional competence. Could we please have a comment from you, Rebecca?
Lovely subject matter. I just feel some things that you could improve would be sort of the relationship between the subject and the background. I don't feel it adds anything, and I feel it's a little bit flat. And things like the creases in the outfit sort of distract me a little bit. But yeah, there's just a couple of things I could improve.
Thank you for those comments, Rebecca. We'll get a panel change now, so thank you for your time and help today, Rebecca. And we're going to
make a comment.
We're going to have Serena Pierce step on, and as we rotate that screen for our next portrait orientation image, we're going to be all settled and have our next image. The judges are having a look at that image and they're settling back in their seats to consider their scores. And the scores are coming through now. We're just finalising them. And this image scores a 5, professional. Erica, would you mind providing commentary for this image, please?
I love the mood of this this photograph. The person in this I found quite intriguing to look at as well, but it really was the printing and even the lighting that let it down for me. So yeah, if the photographer has an opportunity to reshoot something along these lines, give that another go, because I feel like it's going in the right direction.
Awesome, thank you for those comments there. Our next print is in landscape orientation, and then sorry. The judges are reviewing our next image. So the prize for this portrait category is a certificate, a digital badge, print corner sashes, and $1,000 voucher to use on Sony products at Camera Electronic. So we thank Sony for their sponsorship of this category.
That's amazing.
Our scores are starting to come through, and our judges are just reviewing their scores and they're getting entered into our system. And this image scores a silver. Serena, do you mind providing a comment for us for this image, please?
I certainly am interested in the subject and the background, and I think it provides a good, once again, environmental portrait shot. The subject himself looks worried. Perhaps he's got a big concert or something coming up. But I do like the way that once again he's reflected in his. Almost looks like him as a boy in the little photo up on the right-hand side. I do have a little concern with I feel it's a little oversaturated. The colours to me look a little bit overdone, once again in the reds and the blues. I would have liked to have seen perhaps a little bit more subtlety in that area.
Thank you very much for that commentary there. The next image is in portrait orientation, so we're just rotating our screen there. And we are moving to our next image. For those of you in live stream and in the audience, you'll just need to tilt your heads to the side to review this image. And our judges are reviewing it in portrait mode to see the most amount of pixels for the image. So our categories for tomorrow down here at North Metropolitan TAFE for the digital judging are video, documentary and fine art. So if you'd like to come down and review the digital judging in person, you're welcome to come down to 30 Aberdeen Street in Northbridge, and we will love to see you down here to be a part of the judging. Final scores have come through for this image, and this image scores a 4, a competent. Could we please have a comment from Erica?
Cute doggy. Unfortunately, that's about it. Love the expression. But from a technical perspective, this image does need quite a lot of work. There's a lot of movement. The nose is out of focus. The ears are out of focus. I also personally have a pet hate with keeping collars on pets when doing these kind of portraits, and definitely a faster shutter speed. So if we could have frozen every bit about this and perhaps shot it from a slightly different angle and at a different time of day and remove some of the distractions, then yeah, keep going, keep trying with it though, because you can absolutely get some amazing expressions from your doggo friends.
Awesome job, team. Today has been an epic culmination of judging and imagery. That was our final image for today. So thank you for everybody joining us. And we'd like to see you all back down here tomorrow for the judging of our video, documentary and fine art categories from 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Judging will start. Thank you for coming down to those in the audience today. We thank our judges and our sponsors. Especially thank you to Sony for sponsoring today's portrait category, and Jorgensen's from Fitzgerald's for sponsoring our wedding category earlier today. So we'll see you all tomorrow. Thank you.